Hello friends, in this video we will discuss about few theorems on inner product space. In the last video we have seen what is meant by inner product space. Inner product space is an additional structure imposed on a vector space. V is a vector space over a field of a real or complex number. There is a restriction on a field of a field. The real it is a real field or a complex field. Then there we have defined a function and it is called as a inner product. In the last video on inner product space we have seen the definition and examples of inner product space. Now here we will discuss about few theorems regarding the inner product space. Now we define a length of a vector where if V is a vector space, then for any vector V belongs to capital V, the length of V, it is called as a norm of V is written as like this. This is a symbol used to denote norm, or it is called as a length, and is defined as norm of V equal to under root of inner product of V comma V. Under root quantity is always positive, and this norm we know that inner product is a real number or a complex number, but the root of complex number is also positive and root of real number is also positive. Therefore this is positive term. Norm is an positive term. Now we see one lemma regarding this norm of inner product, norm of a vector. Suppose alpha is a scalar, that is statement of this theorem is a very simple. Norm of alpha into u equal to mod of alpha into norm of u, when this alpha is a scalar quantity. Then in that case we write this as alpha mod for norm. Okay, now norm, here norm, what is the definition of norm? Norm of V equal to under root, or if we write this in terms of square, norm of V square equal to inner product of V comma V. This is the definition of norm. Now we apply this to prove this theorem. Here we consider norm of alpha u square, this is equal to inner product of alpha u comma alpha u. This is equal to, by definition of inner product space, by the third property of inner product space, this is linear as a first variable, so we write this as a alpha into u comma alpha u, and it is not linear, so when we want to take this alpha outside the inner product, this becomes alpha bar, that is a complex conjugate. So this is equal to alpha into alpha bar inner product of u comma u. And we know that for complex number, z into z bar equal to mod of z square. Z is a complex number. When it is not a complex, obviously it is alpha into alpha, we get alpha square. So alpha square is a positive quantity, and hence we need a positive number, so we write this as a norm of alpha u square equal to mod of alpha square, and u comma u means norm of u square. Now taking square root on both sides, we get that norm of alpha u equal to mod of alpha into norm of u, and hence this proves the theorem. Now we prove one more theorem. This is not a theorem of inner product space, it is a theorem of number theory, but we need this theorem to prove one important inequality regarding the inner product space. Suppose if a, b, c are real number, a, b, c are real numbers, these are the real numbers, such that this a is greater than 0, a is positive, and the quantity, the important term, a lambda square plus 2b lambda plus c greater than equal to 0 for a real number, lambda, then b square less than equal to ac. This is the theorem. Here a, b, c are the real numbers, and first number a is greater than 0. Again a lambda square plus 2b lambda plus c is greater than 0. This is for any value of real number lambda. Now to prove this, let us calculate the terms 1 divided by a into lambda a plus b whole square plus c minus b square divided by a. Let us calculate this term. Now 1 divided by a into lambda a plus b whole square, that is lambda square a square plus 2b a lambda plus b square plus c minus b square divided by a. Now this is equal to a into lambda square multiplying by 1 by a to the bracket term, a lambda square plus here a get cancel and we get 2b lambda plus b square divided by a plus c minus b square divided by a. Now b square divided by a plus and b square divided by b square divided by a minus get cancel, and we get this term a lambda square plus 2b lambda plus c, and this is given that this is greater than 0 and it is independent of lambda. It is valid for any value of lambda. It is independent of any value of lambda. Now let us take the particular value of lambda. In particular, it is valid for if we put lambda equal to minus b divided by a, then it is also true for this value. If we put this value in this expression, you can see that this term lambda a plus b becomes 0, that is lambda a plus b. In this here we are putting here lambda equal to minus b divided by a into a plus b. A get cancelled, plus b and minus b becomes 0. So this term is also greater than equal to 0 for this value of lambda, and hence this implies that c minus b square divided by a greater than equal to 0, or multiplying throughout by a, ca minus b square greater than equal to 0, or ca is greater than equal to b square, or in b square is less than equal to ac. This proves the theorem. So whenever a, b, c are real numbers such that a greater than 0 and a lambda square plus 2b lambda plus c greater than equal to 0 for any value of real number, then we have b square divided by ac. Now we are using these two factors in proving and very important inequality regarding the inner product space. So remember the definition of norm of an vector, norm of an vector is an under root of u comma v, which is always a positive quantity. Okay, so if u and v, theorem statement of the theorem is that if u and v are vectors, if u and v are vectors, then if u comma v belongs to capital V, V is a vector space, then mod of u comma v is less than equal to norm of u into norm of v. So if z is a real number x plus iy, then mod of z is nothing but under root of x square plus y square. Okay, so here this inner product is an real number or complex number, so modulus is always a positive quantity, it is always greater than 0. But here when u and v are vectors, then the inner product of u and v, its modulus is always less than equal to that length, norm of u into norm of v. Okay, now we prove that if u equal to 0, first suppose that if u equal to 0, then u equal to 0, that is inner product of 0 comma v. Here for this 0 we write it as a 0 into u comma v. This is equal to, you can see that this 0 is a scalar quantity, so we write it as a 0 into u comma v, and 0 into u comma v is equal to 0. So when u equal to 0, the inner product of u comma v equal to 0, and inner product of u comma v equal to 0, so that this u comma u is equal to 0. U comma u equal to 0 means norm of u is also equal to 0. Norm of u equal to 0, then norm of u into norm of v is equal to 0. Here inner product is 0, this modulus is also 0, mod of 0 equal to 0, so that here mod of u comma v equal to norm of u into norm of v. So here when the first vector u is 0, we get that the theorem is true, we have equality, that is mod of u comma v equal to norm of u into norm of v. Here, so consider the second terms, that where u is not equal to 0, and this u comma v, this is suppose a real number, the inner product is, we have taken a real number. Then for any lambda, for any real lambda, let us calculate the inner product of lambda u plus v comma lambda u plus v equal to, apply the third property, this is equal to lambda times u comma lambda u plus v plus inner product of v comma lambda u plus v. Now second variable is not linear, okay, and therefore here this is equal to lambda in bracket, first this is not linear, so this must be lambda bar, and its inner product of u comma u plus inner product of u comma v plus inner product here again this is equal to lambda bar into inner product v comma u plus inner product v and v, we get this term. Now here lambda is chosen as a real number, so its bar is equal to bar, therefore this is equal to lambda square, lambda equal to lambda bar, so lambda into lambda, lambda square into inner product of u comma u plus lambda into u comma v plus lambda bar is lambda, and this is equal to u comma v bar plus inner product of v comma v. Here we have written due to by using the first property of inner product space. What is the first property of inner product space? U comma v equal to v comma u bar. Okay, but here we have the term v comma u, so we have written it as a bar. Now z plus z bar, that is x plus iy plus x minus iy, imaginary get cancel and we get 2x. X is called as a real, so it is 2 times real of z. Here we have the same term u comma v and u comma v. Okay, but here we have taken u comma v as a real number, and therefore here it is not a complex number. That means we can write it as a u comma v. So we get here lambda square u comma u plus 2 lambda u comma v plus v comma v. V comma v, it is a norm, and norm is, this is a under root, this is equal to norm of v square. Okay, so this is equal to lambda square into, okay, u comma u, this is u comma u. U comma u means what? Norm of u square. Norm of u square, it is a length and it is positive, it is square, so it is and real number. Hence we write it as, suppose here let us suppose that let u comma u equal to a real number and it is greater than 0. We have chosen u is not equal to 0. U not equal to 0 means u comma u not equal to 0, therefore it is a positive, it is real. Okay, now u comma v, again it is a real number, so let us choose that real number as a b, and v comma v, again it is real, so let us choose it as a c. Then this term, let us see, this term equal to, this term becomes as a lambda u plus v comma lambda u plus v, this is equal to lambda a lambda square plus 2b lambda plus c, and it is greater than or equal to 0. But this is greater than or equal to 0 and b square is less than or equal to ac. So this gives that what is a b? B square is u comma v square. So this is square less than equal to, what is u? U comma u into v comma v. Okay, u comma u means norm of u square, v comma v means norm of v square. So this is nothing but norm of u square into norm of v square. Now taking, this is an real number square, so we are interested only in square root term, so let us take the square root, and we need positive values, therefore this becomes as a mod of u comma v less than equal to norm of u into norm of v. So when u comma v, the term inner product is an real number, the theorem is established, the result is established. Okay, that is mod of inner product of u comma v less than equal to norm of u into norm of v. Now what happened? Remember this is true for u comma v is a real, then it is true for the theorem is true for u comma v as a real number. Okay, now we prove the theorem is also true for the inner product as a complex number. So let me make some space. Consider the second case where u comma v is not real. The inner product u comma v is not real, that is, it is a complex. Now let us call alpha equal to inner product of u comma v. First term is not equal to 0, so obviously it is not equal to 0. This is not equal to 0. If it is not equal to 0, we can calculate 1 divided by alpha. Now we can calculate 1 divided by alpha. So let us consider alpha. It is a complex number. It is not a real number. So we calculate the inner product of u by alpha comma v. Alpha is a scalar quantity. So we write this as a 1 by alpha into inner product of u comma v. But alpha is what? 1 divided by inner product of u comma v into u comma v. So this is equal to, this is get cancelled and we get 1. That means we have that term inner product of u by alpha comma v equal to 1, and 1 is a real number. So 1 is real number. For 1 we can write it as mod of 1, or this is equal to mod of, instead of 1 we write that real number, that inner product u divided by alpha comma v. And for real number we have just proved that this theorem is proved. We have established, so this is less than or equal to by our result u norm of u divided by alpha into norm of v. Okay, now see what is alpha. Alpha is a scalar, so we write this as, just we have proved one corollary, that is one theorem, that is norm of alpha into u equal to mod of alpha into norm of u. Let us apply this. This is equal to 1 divided by mod alpha into norm of u into norm of v. Okay, that is we have 1 equal to 1 divided by mod alpha into norm of u into norm of v. Now transfer this alpha to this side, so we get that mod of alpha less than equal to norm of u into norm of v. But mod of alpha, what is mod of alpha? Alpha is inner product of u comma v. So mod of u comma v less than equal to norm of u into norm of v. So we have the result when inner product u comma v is not an real number, and hence the theorem is proved. Nextly, we have a definition of orthogonality. We prove the theorem on very important concept in orthogonality in inner product spaces. So this is the definition of norm of u. Norm of u, what is norm of v? Norm of v as a under root of inner product of u comma u. Now let us see what is meant by orthogonality in inner product space. Two vectors u comma v. Suppose we have two vectors u comma v belongs to vector space v. Then u is said to be orthogonal to v. It is said to be orthogonal to v if inner product of u comma v equal to 0. These two vectors are said to be orthogonal if u comma v, its inner product equal to 0. Here when u is orthogonal to v, then v is also orthogonal to u. That means inner product of v comma v u is also orthogonal. Here we have, if another definition, suppose if w is a subspace of inner product space, subspace of v, where v is an inner product space, w is a subspace of inner product space, then the orthogonal complement of w, let us denote it as w1. The orthogonal complement defined as all the x w1 equal to all x belongs to v, such that inner product of x and w equal to 0, where for w belongs to capital W. If the inner product of x with w or w, small w, where small w is element of capital W, then this x will be a member of its orthogonal complement. Now we prove that this orthogonal complement is a subspace. Okay, when what is the definition of subspace? W is a subspace of a vector space V if for any two vector u comma v belongs to capital W, alpha comma beta belongs to capital F. This condition alpha u plus beta v belongs to capital W, then W will be a subspace of a vector space. Here we show that this W complement is a subspace of an inner product space V. Okay, so for that let us consider any two vectors. Suppose x and y are the two vectors of this W complement and alpha comma beta are two scalars. Now we have to show that this alpha x plus beta y is a member of W1. Now to prove that this is a member, it should be equal to its inner product with W must be equal to 0. Then and then it will be a member of W1. So if W belongs to capital W, then let us take the inner product alpha x plus beta y with W, inner product equal to, by definition this is alpha times x comma W plus beta times y comma W. X comma W, this is 0, y comma W, this is 0. So this is equal to, since x belongs to W, that means inner product of x and W equal to 0. So this is equal to 0. So this shows that alpha x plus beta y is a member of W1, that is complement of W, and hence complement of an subspace W is also a subspace of a inner product space. There is another one important definition regarding the vectors of inner product space. Here we have shown the orthogonality. Here when two vectors are orthogonal, this is an important definition. We have defined two important definition, that is length of an vector, that it is called as a norm of a vector. Now we have defined the orthogonality. Two vectors are said to be orthogonal if the inner product of u comma v equal to 0. Now we prove that we should define one more definition, orthonormal. Two vectors are said to be orthonormal. This is orthogonal. This is called as a orthogonal. Now we define orthonormal. Here suppose these are the vectors in inner product space V. Vi are vectors in inner product. Then first condition for orthonormality is inner product of Vi comma Vi equal to 1. That is each of length 1, length of each vector is 1, and second, this inner product for I not equal to j, inner product of Vi comma Vj equal to 0. For any two vector, their inner product is equal to 0. Now we show that this set orthonormal vector forms linearly independent. So let us prove this theorem, lemma. Suppose that if the set Vi is a set and this set is an orthonormal set, then the vectors in this set Vi are linearly independent. these are linearly independent. Remember this definition of orthonormal set. When we said the set is an orthonormal if each vector is of length 1 and the inner product of different vector is equal to 0. If we have the orthonormal set and then we want to prove that this orthonormal set is an linearly independent. So to prove that, we have to show that if we consider the linear combination of these vectors, suppose there are n vectors, let us consider the inner product of the we have to show that alpha 1 v1 plus alpha 2 v2 plus alpha n vn equal to 0 if and only if these all alpha i's equal to 0. So this is an 0. Let us take the inner product of this with vi alpha 1 v1 plus alpha 2 v2 plus alpha I vi plus alpha n vn, its inner product with vi, and this is equal to 0 since the first term equal to 0. When first term of this inner product space is equal to 0, then inner product is obviously equal to 0. Here this is equal to, it is a it is linear as a first variable, so this is equal to alpha 1 into v1 comma vi plus alpha 2 into v2 comma vi plus alpha I into vi comma vi plus alpha n into vn comma vi equal to 0. By definition, we see that v1 comma vi, these are the two different vectors, so this is 0. Since this set is an orthonormal set, this is 0, this is equal to 1, this is equal to 0. So we get that alpha I equal to 0. Okay, so this is for all values of I is equal to 1 to n. That is when we put here alpha equal I equal to 1, we get alpha 1 equal to 0. When we put alpha equal to 1 I equal to 2, we get alpha 2 equal to 0. So the linear combination of vectors and scalar equal to 0 if and only if all the scalars are equal to 0, and therefore these vectors are linearly independent vector. Okay, what we have proved? We have shown that if we have a set of orthonormal vector, then that set of orthonormal vector is linearly independent. Again, we construct an orthonormal orthogonal vector. Let us prove one more lemma which is useful in proving an important theorem regarding the orthonormal set. Suppose we have v1 v2 vn v1 v2 vn is an orthonormal set in inner product space V, IPS V, then and if W is any vector, then U equal to W minus inner product of W comma V1 into V1 minus inner product of W comma V2 into V2 dash 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 minus inner product of W comma Vi into Vi minus inner product of W comma Vn into Vn is orthogonal to each of V1 V2 Vn. This vector which we have constructed U is orthogonal to each of V1 V2 Vn. Here we consider any vector Vi and where I varies from 1 to n. Let us take the inner product of this vector. Inner product of U comma Vi equal to, what is U? W minus inner product of W comma V1 minus W comma V2 into V2 minus W comma Vi into Vi minus W comma Vn into Vn, its inner product with Vi. Okay, remember that inner product is nothing but an scalar quantity, so it is nothing but alpha 1, it is nothing but alpha 2, it is nothing but alpha I, and it is alpha n. So it is like 1 into W minus alpha 1 into V1 minus alpha 2 into V2 minus alpha I into Vi minus alpha n into Vn, its inner product. Okay, and we know that how to treat with this inner product. This is linear by the property of the third property of inner product space. This is equal to inner product of W comma Vi minus, this is an scalar quantity alpha 1, so we write it is at outside the inner product, or this will be W comma V1 inner product into inner product of V1 comma Vi minus W comma V2 into inner product of V2 comma Vi dash dash dash. Here W comma Vi into inner product of Vi comma Vi minus dash 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 W comma Vn into inner product of Vn comma Vi. Now these vectors are orthonormal, therefore when I is not equal to j, here n and I are different, its inner product is 0 by this definition, by this condition. Okay, here V2 equal to 0, V1 Vi, this is also equal to 0, and Vi equal to 1. So simply we have W comma Vi minus W comma Vi, and W comma Vi minus W comma Vi equal to 0. So this shows that this in U is orthogonal to each V1, V2 and Vn. Now we prove, and important lemma once again, we can form a orthonormal vector as a basis of a vector space. Here we use this theorem, these two lemmas, to prove that these orthonormal set, we have proved these are linearly independent, and really we can form a basis by using the orthonormal set. So these are the three definition, important definition. U comma V equal to 0, this is called as orthonormal. Norm of V equal to under root of inner product of U comma V, and orthonormal, these vectors are orthonormal first when inner product of Vi equal to 1, and for I not equal to j, Vi comma Vj equal to 0. Okay, so let us prove the lemma, important lemma regarding this orthonormal set. Let V be a finite dimensional it is a finite dimensional inner product space, then this V has an orthonormal set as a basis. We can form a basis of this inner product space, which is which consists of the vector which are orthonormal. That means length of each vector is equal to 1, and the inner product of different vectors equal to 0. So first let us construct a vector W1. We have suppose that V1, V2, Vn are orthonormal. Firstly, let us prove this. Suppose that let dimension of V equal to n, and this is a basis, V1, V2, Vn be a basis, it is a basis of V. Now let this W equal to V1 divided by norm of V1. Remember, norm is a scalar quantity. It is a length, and length is a scalar quantity. So let us calculate the inner product of W1. This is my W1. W1 with W1. This is equal to inner product of V1 divided by norm of V1, comma V1 divided by norm of V1. Okay, this is equal to, let us take outside this term, 1 divided by norm of V1 into, we get V1 comma V1 divided by norm of V1. Again, let us take outside, this is a scalar quantity and it is a positive, that means it is a real number, so it will not be bar. Okay, so this is equal to 1 divided by norm of V1, 1 divided by norm of V1, and this will be norm of V1 square into V1 comma V1, but V1 comma V1 is norm of V1 square, so this is norm of V1 square divided by norm of V1 square, and this will be 1. So we have constructed one vector W whose length is 1. Now let us take the another term. Suppose my u2 equal to, suppose this is my v2 comma w1 plus v2. Okay, you can see that this u2 is depend on vector v2 and w1. w1 is depend on v1, so obviously it is depend on two vectors. That vectors are v1 and v2. If we calculate the inner product of this u2 with w1, this will be minus v2 comma w1 plus v2 with inner product w1. Now this is a scalar, this is alpha 1, suppose, so like this, minus alpha 1 into w1 plus v2, so this will be minus alpha 1 outside, that is minus alpha 1. What is alpha 1 we have chosen? That is v2 comma w1. Then inner product of w1 comma w1 plus inner product of v2 comma w1. Okay, now w1 comma w1 is 1, so this is equal to minus v2 comma w1 plus v2 comma w1, and this is equal to 0. So this shows that the vector u2 is orthogonal to w1. Now if we construct another vector, w2 is equal to u2 divided by norm of u2, then obviously by similar fashion we can prove that w2 comma w2 equal to 1. Here w2 is depend on this u2. Okay, and therefore the inner product of w2 and w1 equal to 0. So we have this set of two vectors w1 comma w2. These vectors are orthonormal vectors, since length of each vector is equal to 1 and the inner product of these two vector equal to 0. Now let us construct one more vector u3 equal to minus v3 comma w1 into w1 minus v3 comma w2 into w2 plus v3. Okay, now we can see that u3 comma w1 equal to, this is minus v3 comma w1 into w1 minus v3 comma w2 into w2 plus v3, its inner product with w1. This is equal to, these terms are scalar terms, this is alpha 1, this is alpha 2, like this. So alpha 1 into w1, so this will be minus w1 into inner product of w1 comma w1. So this is equal to minus v3 comma w1 into inner product of w1 comma w1 minus v3 comma w2 comma w2 comma w1 and plus v3 comma w1. Here this is 1 and it is equal to 0. So this is equal to minus v3 comma w1 plus v3 comma w1, and this is equal to 0. So this shows that this u3 vector is orthogonal to w1. Similarly, we can show that u3 is orthogonal to w2. Here we get 0. Now let us construct w3 is equal to u3 divided by norm of u3. Here you can see that this u3 is constructed on vector using vector v3, that is first vector v3. Okay, then this w1 is depend on this v1, this w2 depend on v1 as well as v2. So this is depend on v2, and this is u3 is depend on v1, v2, v3, three vectors, but these are linearly independent. If these are linearly independent, these two here are also linearly independent, and these three w1 comma w2 comma w3 are also linearly independent vectors. Okay, so for three vectors we have constructed three orthonormal vectors which are linearly independent. Continuing in this fashion, we can see that we can construct any number of vectors continuing this process, and if there are r vectors in a basis, we can construct an vector r linearly independent vector. But here the dimension of v, continuing in this fashion, here in dimension of v is equal to n, and the v1 v2 vn, there are for each vector, for v1 v1, for v2 using this first two vector we have constructed w3, then v3 using this 1 2 3 vector we have constructed w3. Likewise for this n vector we can construct the vector wn, and these vectors are orthonormal vectors, orthonormal as well as they are linearly independent. They are linearly independent and they span any vector. Every vector is written as a linear combination of this vector. Therefore, these orthonormal vectors forms a basis of inner product space. Okay, so this is an important lemma regarding the inner product space. Now we show that one theorem on this inner product space. Suppose I have theorem if V is a finite dimensional inner product space, and W is subspace of subspace. It is a subspace of V, then V equal to W plus W complement, and this sum is also direct sum. Okay. So first, suppose here let us prove this. The V is finite dimensional. V is a finite dimensional. It is given that V is finite dimensional inner product space. W is a subspace, so W is also inner product space. W is also inner product space. Then we can find W is inner product space, so W has a basis. Therefore, suppose this has a W has a basis set, and that basis set is an orthonormal. Just we have proved that the inner product space has a orthonormal set as a basis. So let us construct that basis is W1, W2, WR. This is an orthonormal set, and it is basis of W. This is basis of W. Let us construct an vector V0 belongs to V, and suppose this V0 is like v minus v comma w1 into w1 minus v comma w2 into w2 minus v comma wr into wr. This is like one where v is any vector. Then let us take the inner product of this v0. We can see that v0 comma w1 equal to v comma minus v comma w1 into w1 minus v comma w2 into w2 minus v comma wr into wr comma w1. Then we can see that this is equal to v comma w1 minus, this is a scalar, so alpha, scalar we write it as alpha times inner product of w1 comma w1. This is again a scalar, so we write it as a minus alpha. Alpha means what? Here inner product v comma w1. Okay, so here beta means inner product v comma w2. For our understanding I have written this like, okay, w2 comma w1 minus v comma wr into wr comma w1. Now see here, here w1 is equal to 1, w2 w1 is equal to 0, wr w1 equal to 0. Since the vectors are orthonormal, every term equal to 0, and we have only v comma w1 minus v comma w1. v comma w1 minus v comma w1, this is equal to 0. So this v0 is orthogonal to w1. Similarly v0 is orthogonal to w2. Similarly this vector is orthogonal to each of the vector v0 comma wr. Okay, so if this vector v0 is orthogonal to each of the vector, then see the construction of v0. v0 is like this one is a v0. You can see that this vector u0, here v0 equal to v minus. Okay, so let us transfer this term to this side, and we have v is any vector. We can write v equal to v0 plus this is an scalar term v comma w1 into w1 plus v comma w2 into w2 plus v comma wr into wr, right? So this is a linear combination like this, alpha 1 w1 plus alpha 2 w2 plus alpha r wr. w1 w2 wr members of w, so this linear combination is a member of w, and this term is orthogonal to each of this w1 w2 and wr. Therefore this v0 cannot be a member of w, it must be a member of w1 complement, and hence we have written this any vector v of vector space as a linear combination, as an element of w plus w complement. Okay, and again here w1 w comma w complement, this intersection is empty, it contains only 0 element as a common. This sum is a direct sum. Okay, so any vector v is expressed as a w plus w complement. This proves the theorem. I hope you get the concept of inner products space. Here we have proved the orthogonality, orthonormality and the length of a vector space. We stop here. Thank you for watching and being with me.